Martina walked quickly along the crowded streets of Milan. The noise of traffic and the buzz of the city surrounded her, amplifying the chaos she felt inside. Every step was an attempt to escape from the thoughts that tormented her, from the uncertainties that the economic collapse had brought into her life. As a financial analyst, she had always trusted her ability to read the markets, to anticipate trends, to guide her clients' decisions. Now, everything seemed to be slipping out of her control. Want to find out how Martina will transform this moment of crisis into an opportunity for growth? Read on for a journey of rebirth and awareness. The stock markets were collapsing. The numbers that were once under her control now seemed to have a life of their own, crazy and beyond all logic. Martina felt betrayed by her own experience, as if all those years of study and dedication no longer counted for anything in the face of the disorder that dominated the market. She kept wondering how she could fix this, how she could keep the promise of stability and security she had made to her clients, her family, and most of all, herself. If you can relate to this story, subscribe to our channel for more thoughts on how to approach life's challenges with a new perspective. She decided to stop for a moment in a small square away from the main hustle and bustle. She noticed a small Zen temple hidden among the historic buildings. There was something about the place that drew her, a sense of peace that contrasted with the chaos of her mind. She entered, hoping to find respite, even if only for a few minutes. Inside, the noise of the city faded, as if the place had the ability to contain and calm every sound. She sat on a wooden bench, feeling her breathing return to normal for the first time in days. An older man with deep eyes and a calm presence approached. "Welcome," she said with a gentle smile. "I'm Hiro." Martina looked at him, struck by the calm he conveyed. She began to tell him about her work, the crisis, the feeling of impotence that tormented her. Hiro listened in silence, never interrupting, as if each word had time to settle gently in the air. "If your external world is in crisis, perhaps it's time to find stability within yourself," Hiro said after a long pause. "The peace you seek is not found in numbers, but in your ability to accept life as it is, without fighting against it." Those words resonated in Martina as a simple but revolutionary truth. Accustomed to looking for concrete and immediate solutions, she found it difficult to accept the idea that the problem could be within her, in her reaction to circumstances, and not in the circumstances themselves. Have you ever felt that true peace can come from within? Share your experience in the comments below. Martina began to return to the temple every day. Each meeting with Hiro was like an open window to a way of seeing life that she had never considered. Hiro taught her to meditate, to sit in silence and observe her thoughts without judging them, without getting dragged into the vortex of her fears. At first, Martina's mind was a tumult of images, numbers, disastrous predictions and failures. But little by little, guided by Hiro's calm voice, she learned to let go of that need for control. One day, during one of their meditations, Hiro told a story. Once upon a time, there was a man who, during a storm at sea, fought with all his strength to keep the boat on course. But the more he tried to dominate the waves, the more he was overwhelmed by their fury. Only when he gave up and stopped fighting, letting the sea guide him, did he find the calm and safe harbor he was looking for. Those words touched something deep in Martina. She understood that her whole life had been a constant struggle against the waves, an attempt to control every detail to avoid failure. Remember, life is not about avoiding storms, but learning to navigate them with wisdom and serenity. Sign up to never miss other transformation stories like this. She began to see the economic crisis not as an enemy to be defeated, but as an opportunity to change, to grow, to find a new balance. She decided to bring this new perspective to her work. She returned to the office with a calm she had never known before. She proposed a new approach to resource management, a plan that was not just about minimizing financial risk, but that encouraged her team to focus on resilience, on the ability to adapt to change without fear. Many of her colleagues were skeptical, and some openly criticized her ideas, calling them too idealistic and impractical. But Martina was not discouraged. She continued to return to the temple, where Hiro guided her deeper and deeper into her Zen practice. She discovered that true strength was not in a desperate attempt to control the market or predict the unpredictable, but in her ability to remain stable and present, even when everything seemed to be collapsing around her. As the economic crisis continued to devastate many people's finances, Martina began to notice a change in her own approach to life. She was no longer obsessed with the fear of failure. Now she saw every challenge as an opportunity to discover a new part of herself, to deepen her path to inner peace. Zen practice had taught her that stability was not the absence of problems, but the ability to maintain balance in the midst of them. One afternoon, Hiro told her, "Don't try to control the wind. Instead, learn to use its force to move you in the right direction." Life is not about avoiding storms, but knowing how to go through them with an open heart and a calm mind. Martina then understood that her true mission was not just to survive the economic crisis, but to transform it into a life lesson, an opportunity to grow and help others do the same. Over time, the change that Martina had begun to experience within herself began to be reflected in her work. Her company, under her leadership, began to prosper despite the crisis, finding new ways and innovative solutions to adapt to market fluctuations. But Martina's greatest success was not measured in numbers or balance sheets, but in the serenity she had found in her heart, a peace that nothing and no one could take away from her. As she walked through the streets of Milan, the noise of traffic and the frenzy of the city now seemed like a distant background. She felt she was finally at peace, not because she had solved all her problems, but because she had discovered how to face them with a calm mind and a heart full of hope. Hiro had taught her that true stability is not found in external conditions, but in the ability to accept life as it is, with all its uncertainties and challenges. Martina knew that the economic crisis would not end soon, but now she felt ready to face it, not as a battle to be won, but as a journey to be lived with awareness. She had found a balance that no longer depended on numbers, but on a deep connection with herself. And in that awareness, she had discovered that, despite everything, true peace had always been within reach, hidden in the silence of her heart. Thank you for following this story to the end. May you too find your inner peace and the courage to face challenges with serenity. Sign up and continue your journey with us.